So this is Pure Concrete, track by track. This is track number 4, Sex versus Death again, which is by far the hardest one to sing. It is the hardest. It has the fucking weirdest timing, and I wrote the lyrics in just a bonkers way where all the lines have different lengths and start at different times, and some of them go over into the next line a bit, but not all of them do. And I basically made life as hard as possible for myself when I wrote the vocals for it and kind of arranged the vocals along with the piano. But I think that overall it's one of the tracks that I really love kind of performing live and love letting people hear, because it's such a different vibe to some of the stuff we've done before. What the original demo, what was it called? It was called Bears in the Garden, I think.
Yeah, who knows why? Don't know. All the like sort of little ideas for tunes have to get a. That's an unusual one, because normally I give all these like little ideas like a one-word name, and that's one of the. I don't know why, but that's one of the ones that I think Sylvia might have named that one.
Oh,
so, probably because she really wants bears in the garden.
But I remember it was one of the demos that you sent me that. I mean, a lot of the stuff you send maybe just has one instrument, whereas this was built up slightly in terms of I think the kind of drum loop.
Yeah.
Or the starting of the drum loop was already there, and then the piano. And immediately it conjured up this image of a cityscape and twinkling lights in a cityscape. And I was like, okay, great jumping off point, great feeling, great image to start with. But yeah, do you remember writing the original piano piece?
Yeah, well, so I think again it was like one of those little sort of beats in that little monotype thing. So this again, it was just mucking about with little beats in that. So that's kind of the little sort of lo-fi beat that's kind of on the final track. And like once you find something repetitive like that, yeah, I think it was just mucking about with like piano chords on top of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it's just like once you find that chord thing that just feels good in your head, and then you start repeating it, and then sort of finding the right spaces and sort of connecting chords.
Yeah. Did you feel like the timing was weird when you were doing it?
No, see, that's what I was going to say. I think I'm probably the only one who doesn't find the time. Yeah. I mean, I think I appreciate now it's got a bit of a weird timing, but yeah, I think writing it, it kind of, when it clicks in quite early on, it's kind of easier to live with after that. But because I do remember when we were recording it, I think you're right, you did make life more difficult yourself by having like different lines, and obviously the end result is great, but yeah, having all these kind of overlapping lines and stuff makes it.
Yeah, it was a bad life choice, to be fair. But it was one of those tunes that we kind of would recorded before we took it into the studio and done the final recording, and we're like, it's good, it's good, bordering on great. And then when we took it into Kem and kind of redone the vocals and mixed and stuff, it was like, oh god, it's like, yeah, it kind of fulfilled its potential very quickly.
Yeah, I do remember like it had the chords came quite quickly, but we didn't really have a second half of the song. It certainly got to a point where we both were like, oh, it needs to do something else. And
yeah,
I think there's like a couple of songs in this album where it was kind of that unusual thing. I was like, normally, like if I was writing chords and stuff, it would all just be on my own here. But that was one of those things. I think you were over here and we were mucking about with ideas, and that whole second part of the song where it does that little change and goes to something a bit different. That was definitely one of those things where, like, as soon as I started playing something you did something over the top, and it was like, well, this is this is obviously what the second half of the song should say.
Yeah, it was great after all that kind of, it's such a great contrast that all the kind of intricate kind of, quite high kind of vocals in the first half that are all kind of interlocking and overlapping, and then the second half just have this incessant vocal that just builds and builds and builds, it gets bigger and bigger, and yeah, it just felt like what it needed, and it was just, I think when you listen to the final product, you're like, yeah, definitely, that was the right choice.
And again, Shane's definitely responsible for giving the second half of that tune that big sort of lift it needs, because you've got this sort of like like really lo-fi electronic beat through, and yeah, it just really needed something at the last bit of that tune that, like the piano, for whatever reason, the piano sounds more organic in the second half of the tune than it does in the first. I think because everything's linked to this kind of like this beat, and then the second half of the tune, the piano just needed to link with something more real. So like, if you did the drums for that, everything just sounded like bigger and spacier, and it was great. It was like, it's exactly what that song needed.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely, it felt like the start of a new thread of our music as well, in terms of incorporating piano and putting it front and center. I think we'd had stuff before that had piano in it, but maybe wasn't based entirely around a piano riff like that. Whereas this was very blatantly like, here's a piano tune, but it's not just like a ballad thing. It's like, this is actually a very complex kind of dynamic composition with lots of, moving parts in it.
There's one thing that like, I think we were kind of mixing this last year, and I do remember buying Ghosteen by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. When that came out, and I put that album on for the first time, and I can't actually remember the track name of it, Ghosteen, and it comes up and it's the same chords. It's like this is a song in that starts with the same chords, I think in the same key, same feeling, and I just remember looking at stereo going, what the
fuck you, Nick Cave.
But it is genuinely one of those like weird coincidences where so I mean, like, that was obviously in a new Nick Cave album, and I was thinking, well, we've had this song for like 6 months. It's just very, and obviously the songs go and they do different things, and it's not but it's just funny when you hear this like little motif, because it's a really strange thing, like, because we were developing the songs and mixing it at that time, and then to hear it in your stereo, I was just like, oh, that's ours. No, it's not our song. Did you see there was a thing the other day in the Nick Cave, like the Reds, what's it called, the Red Right Hand Files,
right?
And it was all about like reappropriating like I guess like riffs and melodies and like feelings from songs and stuff. It's kind of it was actually kind of really interesting, just the amount of stuff that they were saying that like him and Warren Ellis kind of borrow and use as a kind of basis to influence like a sound of a particular tune. And it's kind of nice to see that from somebody, because I think this idea that every idea you ever come up with is like completely from scratch, and it's not even subconsciously like sort of influenced by something that you're listening to at the time or you like. I mean, it's crazy.
You don't just conjure these things, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's based on what you're listening to and what you're consuming and all the other stuff. But yeah, I think we're always quite good at that, of saying what's the vibe of this, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's got a Nick Cavey vibe, or it's got a whatever, and it's like that's just a shorthand though. It's not like you're like stealing a thing. It's like you're just like, oh, we know the general feeling of it, But yeah, Sex versus Death, I feel like where it's placed on the album, especially after these kind of like, big tunes, big single, and then it's like, oh, here's another thing we can do. You know, I feel like it really serves a purpose in opening up the palette of the album and being like, oh no, look, there's slow stuff, there's piano stuff, there's different things. Lyrically, I feel like it's quite a weird piece because I definitely wrote to the piano. I wrote to the riff, and you can tell when you're listening back, you can feel where the syllables are landing in relation to the piano riff. But then I started to go off it and started to kind of play around it, making my life difficult. And then at the end, as we said, just this repeated motif. Yeah, fucking with the blinds open, fucking under the Kingston Bridge, which will never get played on radio, I assume. Which is a shame because it's such a great line.
It'd be nice if it was playing the radio, but I think we might have to do a radio edit for that one again.
Yeah, pumping under the Kingston Bridge. I don't know if pumping is acceptable.
We can check if that's a radio allowable word.
Yeah, it's weird what you can say and what you can't say, you know. But I mean, in terms of the general theme of the song, you know, the title's a wee bit tongue in cheek, sex versus death again, because it feels like a recurring thought that a lot of us have, and a lot of people are kind of dealing with in their lives, that, you know, we're so scared of dying, we're so scared of the mortality of our existence, and that sex is this, you know, momentary escape from it, that we can kind of get away from life and feel something different. And then obviously you know, it comes back very quickly afterwards. So it was weird kind of exploring this quite intimate topic, but then putting it in a song, basically. I couldn't imagine it being like a pop song. Do you know what I mean? It needed to feel this way. It needed to be like a piano-led piece with like interlocking elements. I've always thought it sounds weirdly Parisian. Were you inspired by Paris at all when writing it?
I don't remember being inspired by Paris when I was writing it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that feels quite like, maybe what it reminds me of is the Tindersticks soundtrack for, what's it called, 35 Shots of Rum, the Claire Denis film.
Well, I think I would be lying if I didn't say that Tindersticks were an absolutely massive influence in how I like to play piano, especially. I think like even like guitar and stuff as well, but like piano especially, like Tindersticks are just such a massive influence. Maybe I've been listening to loads of Tindersticks at the time.
It could have been that, but definitely it feels like it comes from left field, which feels correct for what we were trying to achieve and what we ended up kind of talking about on it as well. Yeah. So yeah, here is the track. Here is Sex versus Death again.
With your flesh pressed against me, we can cheat time. With my hand round your neck, you'll still not be mine. All of this lust, a minor reprieve, trying to outrun my mortality. Haven't you heard? We're all slowly dying. All the things lying if I could abscond through your eyes, find peace in your shade, cease this mind from reeling, and make my escape always forwards. Foreign pavements, this life won't stop for your arrangements. Haven't you heard? We're all slowly dying. All the things that you love is just a universe lying to fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed. Fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed. Fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed. Fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed. Fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed. Fucking with the blinds open won't scare away death. Fucking under the Kingston Bridge won't make you any less depressed.